P of 3020 means is the net balance between the total cash received and the total cash paid out. Of course, bringing it to the debit side shows that the only cash remaining in Mr. Victory's Enterprises cash till or cash book as at February 1st, 2021 is 3020. This is balance brought down showing opening balance for the new accounting period. Of course, the balance carried down for January 31st of 3020 has been brought forward to the next month, which shows that the business is going to continue operation by February 1st, 2021 with 3020 being balance brought down for the new month. Sometimes it will not be necessary for us to write the total expenses of 5,930 at this point. I have just used this figure because we are in our foundation stage. The next thing we do is to prepare the trial balance. You can see the ruling of the trial balance. We have the particulars, or you can write details here. We have debit, we have credit. Then we extend the lines and we have the total. The purpose is to place debit balances here and credit balances, and the names of the accounts involved or having the balances will be written here. Of course, we have said that trial balance involves the collection of all the balances in the ledgers. The balances we are collecting at this point are the balance brought down. You collect the balance brought down for all the accounts. Of course, all the accounts have their balance brought down either at the debit side or at the credit side. So what we do is to write the names of all the accounts at this point. Any account that has a debit balance, the amount will be written on the debit side. And any account that has a credit balance, the amount involved will be written on the credit side. Then once we add up the total, it is expected to be the same. So let us do that now. Now, we extracted the names of all the accounts: stationery account, traveling expenses account, hire of plant account, drawings account, wages account, capital account, sales account, purchases account, and rent account. You can see them here: stationery, traveling expenses, hire of plant, drawings, wages, capital, sales, purchases, rent, and cash. This is the cash account. Now, if you watch each of these accounts, some have their balances on the debit side, some have their balances on the credit side. Now, we have stationaries, 100 is on the debit, travel expenses 300 on the debit, hire of plant 50 on the debit, drawings 200 on the debit, wages 80 on the debit, that is the balance BDs, capital 7,000 on the credit, sales 1,950 on the credit, purchases 4,700 on the debit, and rent 500 on the debit. So what we do is very simple. Each account that has a debit balance, write the amount on the debit. The ones that has a credit balance, balance BD, write the amount on the credit. And thereafter we add the total and find out whether they will be the same. The stationery accounts has 100 as balance brought down debit. We have stationery account, debit 100. Traveling expenses 300, balance brought down debit. Traveling expenses 300, we post it to the debit side. Hire plant has balance brought down debit 50. We have hire of plant, we post it to the debit side of the trial balance 50. Drawings account, we have 200 on the debit side, balance brought down. We have drawings 200 debit, we post it to the debit side of the trial balance. We have wages account is on the debit 80. So we have wages 80 on the debit side of the trial balance. The capital account has its balance brought down on the credit side 7,000. So we take it to the trial balance, capital account 7,000, you can see on the credit side. The sales account is on the credit side of the account, balance brought down 1,950. We post the sales account to the credit side of the trial balance 1,950. The purchases account has its balance brought down 4,700 on the debit side. So we post the purchase account to the debit side of the trial balance 4,700. The rent account has its balance brought down on the debit side 500. So we post the rent account to the debit side of the trial balance. The one column cash book or the cash account has its final net balance at the debit side $3,020. So we post the cash account to the debit side of the trial balance 3,020. When you add the debit side of the trial balance 100 plus 300 plus 50 plus 200 plus 80 plus 4,700 plus 500 plus 3,020, it gives you 8,950. If you add the credit side of the trial balance 7,000 plus 1,950, it gives you 8,950. As you can see, the two sides are equal. That is the total. The total for the debit 8,950. The total for the credit side is 8,950. Now we assume that the trial balance is balanced and that our accounts are error-free. That means all our postings obeyed the double entry principle. From all we have done, it is clear that some accounts have debit balances, while some accounts have credit balances. Now your knowledge of the accounts that have debit balances and accounts that have credit balances will assist you in the preparation of the trial balance. If you watch closely, you discover that all the accounts that received value were debited in the trial balance, while all the accounts that gave out value were credited. For instance, capital gave out money. The sales gave out cash sold. So you must always be able to know an account that is debited once it is mentioned. For instance, rent is a debit account. Purchases is a debit account. Salary account is a debit account because the cashier pays out value and they receive. Sales is a giving account or a receipt account that gives out and is usually credited. Capital account is an account that gives out and is usually credited because the owner of the business gives out cash so that the business can start. Goods were sold and cash was given to the cashier. So you must recognize on the mentioning of every account that such account is always debited or always credited. This will assist us greatly when we go into the treatment of errors and suspense account. Now, let us take an assignment on how to prepare the trial balance without making any postings to the ledgers. We are still going to make use of the same question, but your knowledge of accounts to be debited and accounts to be credited is very important at this stage. Assignment. Below are the transactions of Victory Enterprises for the month of January 2021. Stationaries, $100. Traveling expenses, $300. Hire of land, $50. Drawings, $200. Wages, $80. Purchases, $4,700. Rent, $500. Sales, $1,950. Cash, $3,020. Capital, question mark. Prepare a trial balance from the data above and show the value of capital. Now they want us to get the value of capital. Recall that these are the same questions we treated under the one column cash book. If you go to the ledgers, you discover that these ledgers are the same